Hello to all, my name is Steam Joe and I'm here with another review of One Punch Man. Now this one is for episode 2 English dub and it premiered on Toonami recently. But before I get started with the review, I want to thank all the people who viewed, liked, commented on my previous videos. I'm a new YouTuber, so all the support is welcomed and appreciated. And I'm going to keep trying to give you guys great content from gaming, more reviews and reactions, so stay tuned guys. Okay, now for this review, let's get started. Now the show starts off with news that an outbreak hit City Z, well, was in the process of hitting City Z, and everyone is told, all the civilians in City Z are told to stay indoors, don't come out, you know, for no reason, because this outbreak is unlike any other that they've seen before. It's a new type of mosquito, a new species. So in the meantime, between time, you had Saitama trying to actually catch a mosquito. And I think we can all relate to when you're trying to kill that one bug and you swinging and you're doing this and that. You feel like you're using all your power and energy to catch them and you just can't get them. But that's basically what Saitama went through. And there was one scene whereas he was zooming in a little on his patio. He was going from left to right, trying to catch the bug, using all his power, and just couldn't do it. So in City Z, you had one guy who was trying to rob a store, and he thought that the mosquitoes, you know, was just regular mosquitoes. It wasn't going to do anything. You know, if he get bit, that was okay because he wasn't going to die. But little did he know that those mosquitoes was actually a new monster or demon that was created from the House of Evolution, which seems to be the big player in One Punch Man, or the big villain, I guess you could say, in One Punch Man. So the mosquitoes basically swarmed his whole body, took all his blood out, and sucked it up and then transported it to another monster. Her name is Mosquito Girl. And I don't know if a lot of people get this same thought too, but in my opinion, she looks just like Ragyo Kyryuin from Kill la Kill. Now, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird, but hey, I guess in anime it's a small world. So she sucks the blood from the guy, and now a new character shows up, and his name is Genos, and he's an android. And his goal was to stop Mosquito Girl from harming anybody else. So next thing you know, he shoots his fireballs at her. The next thing you know, it's another action scene, another high quality action scene, I may add. And that's the one thing I do like about One Punch Man, is that all of the fight scenes are like high quality AAA material. They did a really good job at animating the fight scenes. There's a lot of fluidity, back and forth, you know, nice moves and everything being thrown. They do a really good job with that. During the fight, Mosquito Girl rips off Genos' arm, but at the same time she was ripping off his arm, he grabbed both her legs, and she didn't even realize it until she looked down and was like, where are my legs? Where are my legs? So then, to help beat Genos, Mosquito Girl went and she sent her mosquitoes out to go and suck all of the animals' blood, because all the humans was indoors, so the only other life source she could get blood from was the animals. And then next thing you know, after they get all the blood from all the animals nearby, it's like thousands and thousands or millions and millions of mosquitoes swarm her. Well, after her mosquitoes sucked all the animals' blood, they all came back to her and started transferring the blood they got to her, to Mosquito Girl. So then once all of them get together, then they all swarm down and then just crash into the city, in between the buildings and all the streets and everything. So Genos then uses a big fire attack and burns all of them and clears basically all of the mosquitoes out. also including Saitama's clothes. So by the time the Inferno was done, all the mosquitoes was dead, and Saitama's clothes was gone, which I thought was kind of weird, but hey, that's how I go in anime sometimes. So then that's when Genos thought everything was okay until Mosquito Girl shows back up, and now she's 100 times stronger, her skin is red, and she's ready to kill. So next thing you know, she starts ripping Genos up, literally speaking limb, from the chest first, and she knocked him up in the air, ripped out all of his other parts, and she was getting ready to go for the kill, which was his head. So as she was coming for Genos felt like the only thing he could do was self-destruct and take her as well as himself out, so that way Mosquito Girl couldn't kill anybody else. And right before he was able to self-destruct and kill Mosquito Girl and himself, Saitama comes through and basically slaps her in the face so hard that she splattered up against a building. And it was blood everywhere. And then Saitama's joke was pretty funny too, which was, I think it was mosquito out. But finally he got to kill the bug that was bothering him, on the first part. So then Genos is just staring like, wow, you killed him with one punch, that's amazing. So then next thing you know, Genos asked for Saitama's name. And Saitama gave it to him. So then Genos was like, can I be a disciple? And Saitama was like, okay, and just walked away. So then a week later, Genos shows up at Saitama's place and, just thanks him again. And then he started telling Saitama his story about how when he was younger, it was an android. When he was 15, it was an android, well, which was 4 years ago, I'm sorry. It was an android that destroyed his whole family, his friends, his family, his house, everything. And Genos was also damaged too, if I'm correct. So then Genos ran into a scientist that was actually trying to stop the cyborg that destroyed his family. And the scientist's name was Dr. Kusuno. So Kusuno was like, if you help me destroy this cyborg, or to help you destroy this cyborg, let me give you these robotic pieces. And basically he turned Genos into an android. I think the only thing that's not an android, that's not robotic, is Genos' head, if I'm correct. But then I think his eyes are too. So it's only like some of his head is human, and then the rest of his body is just straight android, robotic. So then the funny part was when Genos started basically rambling. He was rambling about how strong Saitama was, how he wanted to get Saitama straight, how he wanted Saitama to teach him how to be that strong, so that way he can stop the cyborg. How stopping the cyborg was the only thing that mattered to him, and that's why he went into each city trying to find the cyborg and also trying to stop all of the monsters that was terrorizing people. And he just kept going on and on and on and on. He was going faster and faster and faster, and throughout all of that, Saitama was like, oh, please will you just shut up? Because actually before Genos started telling his life story, Saitama didn't want to hear it. Because Saitama was like, what's your problem? And then Genos took that literally as to, okay, let me tell Saitama my problems. So then Saitama was like, I really don't want to hear the story. But then that's when Genos started telling his story. So then when the story was going, when Genos was telling the stories, you could tell Saitama was getting ticked off until eventually he exploded and was like, he called him an idiot, and he's like, shorten your story to 20 words. So then the next scene was inside the House of Evolution, and they had just got reports that Mosquito Girl was destroyed, and it was one scientist who seems like he runs everything, he wasn't too surprised by that because she was only a prototype, so that didn't really affect him. But what he did want was a sample from Saitama. He wanted to do testing on Saitama to see what made him, why was he that strong. So he sends out another group of monsters to go and capture him and bring him back to the House of Evolution. So then the next scene was Genos asking Saitama again if he can teach Genos how to become stronger, and Saitama was like, okay, I'll teach him. So then Genos gets up and he says, objects incoming, and Saitama was like, huh, what? And the next thing you know, this praying mantis like monster comes through. His name was Kamayuri. Kamayuri. He busts through the roof. He was like, this so. He's like, huh? The next thing you know, bam, Saitama give him that one punch. And he's like, it's rude to destroy people's roofs. So then you had two other monsters looking out, and they were saying, wow, he was destroyed in one punch. He was like one of the top monsters at the House of Evolution. So then Genos, he jumps out the apartment, and he's ready to attack the other two that were sitting out. And by that time, Saitama already got to them. He didn't punch him, he just, I guess, like flipped him over or something. And then he was like, it's rude to destroy someone's roof. But then you had two other monsters three. The first one was Armored, what's his name? Armored Gorilla was one of them. Oh, I'm sorry, Ground Dragon then grabbed Saitama and pulled him into the ground. And then Armored Gorilla showed up, and he started attacking Genos. So then Genos was trying to help Saitama. Saitama was like, no, I'm good. Shoot him in the ground. You know, he was making light of the situation just because he wasn't scared. So then Genos and Armored Gorilla started fighting. But Armored Gorilla was actually supposed to capture Saitama, but since Genos was in the way, he just started attacking Genos instead. So then now you had Genos and Armored Gorilla fighting, and then next thing you know, as Saitama's still in the ground, Beast King shows up and tells Saitama that he's in a tight spot. So then Saitama was like, no, it's actually okay, I'm actually okay. So then Beast King, introduces himself, tells him he's tells Saitama he's the strongest and nobody's more powerful than him and everything. So as Beast King is going on and on about how strong he is, Saitama just comes out the ground, and then next thing you know, Armored Dragon and Beast King are like, what? Huh? They all surprised and stuff. And then before they start fighting, Saitama was like, wait a minute, give me a minute, let me clear my belt. So then it goes on for about a minute of Saitama just doing like this, trying to flick all the dirt out of his belt. So then Beast King asks him if he's good. He's like, you're good? And then Saitama was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, let's fight. So then Beast King started throwing out like his claw attacks, going left, right, up, down, everywhere. And Saitama is just dodging them effortlessly. And then that's when Beast King, he transformed into, I guess, his true form, maybe like 100 times more powerful or something. Then he just starts throwing his claw attacks even faster, and Saitama is dodging them with ease. He's not even breaking a sweat. His eyes are actually still, they look like he's still bored. And he's dodging like thousands and thousands of claw attacks. So then Saitama comes up. I'm thinking he came up with this on the fly, but Saitama did his attack, which was the consecutive normal punch. You gotta see it though, it's so funny. Because he throws one good punch, and then the one punch knocks out Beast King, and then you can see like little fists going around Beast King after the one punch hit. It's so funny, you gotta see it in action. And as he's saying, consecutive normal punch. I mean, it's so effortlessly and boorish that, it's funny. So then Ground Dragon was like, I'm not dealing with this, I'm out. So then he goes into the ground. Well, he's trying to go into the ground. I'm assuming back to the House of Evolution. And next thing you know, Saitama shows up. He's like, found you. And the face he makes reminded me of one of the Titans on Attack on Titan. With the real simplistic look on his face, on the face, with the eyes and nose and mouth. It was really funny. So then he kills Ground Dragon, and by the time Saitama comes out, Genos is already finished with Armored Gorilla. So then Armored Gorilla is up against a building, and Genos has his fireball ready to go, basically telling him, asking him, where did he come from? Why was he trying to capture Saitama? And what was the whole purpose of, their effort? So then Armored Gorilla is like, you may have defeated me, but I'm only number 3. You still haven't fought number 2, and your power level is not strong enough. So as he's saying that, Saitama comes up with Beast King's eye, and he was the number 2 fighter in the House of Evolution. So then Saitama pulls it up, and it was like, he's like, well, this guy? And so then Genos was like, I guess so. But it was Beast King's eye, and then like the whole veins and stuff. It was really nasty. Because when Saitama killed Beast Man, when he threw one good punch, when he threw his one punch, Beast King exploded into millions of pieces, body parts flying everywhere, skin, eyes, legs, arms. It's nasty. So then, after Saitama shows Armored Gorilla the eye, Armored Gorilla looks, and he has his stone cold face on, like nothing is going to bother him. He's not going to say anything. And the House of Evolution is the best ever. So he's pretty confident. Well, he was confident until he seen that eye. So then the next scene was a close-up on Armored Gorilla's face. And he had the stone face on. He was looking like, I'm going to protect House of Evolution to the fullest in all of its glory. He went from I'm gonna protect them to nominee for Snitch of the Year because he told all of the secrets. He told all of the secrets. But then his voice changed too, and he was using his normal voice when he was telling them all of the secrets. So then Saitama was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, why isn't your voice the same?" And then Armored Gorilla was like, "Well, I was just talking like that because it sounded cool." So then that's when the episode went off. Credits rolled through. Then on post credits, you had a lot of commotion going on at the House of Evolution because they just got word that basically everybody was destroyed. And then that's when the scientist who created Mosquito Girl walks in, and he was like, "What's all the commotion for?" And it's all the people just standing around trying to figure out what to do. And the next thing you know, when the scientist walks in, all of the people turn around, but get this, they was all clones of the scientist. And then the show went off. So I thought episode 2 was really good. This one looked like it was geared more to be a comedic take on the the One Punch Man series. It had its action, which was illustrated beautifully, I thought. The fight with Mosquito Girl and Genos was nice and fluid. You had both combatants fighting each other, using nice moves. And then with Armored Gorilla and Genos, that one was a lot more physical. It still had its fluidity in the animation. But I like one scene when the two was fighting. Genos used Inferno attack or fireball attack on Armored Gorilla, and the next thing you know, it's a ball of flame right where they was fighting at. So then a second later, you have Armor King jumping out of the flame with his arms flailing, like he, like, because technically speaking, he's a gorilla. So the way he came out that's how a gorilla would actually come out, and if he was to jump like that. So I thought that animation was a nice touch to the whole fight scene that they had. And Genos seems like he's a pretty cool character. He's kind of weird, but I like him so far. And Saitama Saitama's funny as usual. So I can't wait for episode 3. Let's see how they mix it up, and if it'll be more action oriented, or have more comedy, or maybe it might be a combination of the both. I don't know. But I'm so glad that Toonami put this show on, because I think this will keep Toonami running for a long time. It's a great show. It's a great show. So that's it for my review, guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to my channel, Steam Joe, because I will be coming up with more content very, very soon. In the meantime, watch this video, support me, and I'll make sure I support you guys with some great content. As always, Steam Joe out.